Back.
Yep, she's there.
Oh, good.
She's the little black box.
Excellent. We will call this meeting to order at 5:32 and we will start with the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
All right, President Gabehart.
Here.
Unmute, Han, so you can answer.
Hello.
Hi.
Secretary Duval is on.
Here.
Treasurer Parker. Here. Director Wager.
Here.
And Director Brown. Here. Okie dokie.
We have a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
I'll second it.
Motion is made and seconded to approve the agenda. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Consent items, approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion to approve minutes from the last meeting
And the expenditures.
and the expenditure? Yeah, with the consent items.
I will make a motion to approve the consent items.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Motion been made and seconded to approve the consent item. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion on the table, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Public comment limited to 3 minutes. When you're recognized, stand, state your name and address the board in a professional manner. Anybody on Zoom like to address the board? Excellent. We'll move on to staff reports. We will start with Wolf. Good evening, gentlemen.
Oh, and Michael just joined.
Pardon me?
They're part of the consent agenda.
Financial.
Oh,
Okay.
year to date, yeah.
Yeah.
You did as well. Okay.
Good
Michael.
evening. How are you guys?
Good,
Chris.
Good. All right. So you want us to go through kind of what's been going on and all that right now?
That'd be great.
Okay. Stephen, do you want to start with what you found out today?
So, Chuck came out from McGuire to do another re-inspection on the small chlorine contact tank. And he found that the roof support trusses are incredibly badly corroded where they all meet in the center and stand on the support column. And he is advising that we break contract and actually have that tank replaced instead of recoating. He thinks recoating will essentially be a waste of money. The reason why he didn't find this out before seemed to simply be that he did not pull the cap off the vent the last time he inspected it.
Looks like nobody pulled that vent off there in a while and inspected it.
No, it doesn't seem like it. The good news is about breaking contract though. He said KWWA hasn't paid for any of the materials. So all the paint sitting on the shelf as well as that new vent that they ordered, that was all on McGuire's dime. So he said once you decide to break contract or not, then he can just come collect that stuff. And it didn't sound like there's a fee or anything for breaking contract, especially because it's going to be at his recommendation.
Well,
Mike, go ahead.
I was coming to the meeting to recommend you break the contract anyway prior to getting this information. Because if he did an inspection prior to starting that work last time, prior to that tank being emptied last time to start work, he didn't give that to anybody in this office. It wasn't shared with any of us. And of course, we're not going to get an answer from Paul now. So
Right.
We could have visited this back in September of last year and already been on it. But now we're in the second round with McGuire and we're just now finding out. So I appreciate Chuck's stance on it because I was going to break that contract anyway.
There you go.
I agree.
Michael and you gentlemen, is there an alternative to having a contact tank? I know not every municipality has two water tanks. Is there an alternative to that?
Um, well, you have to meet your log removal for disinfection. So your contact tank is what allows that contact time with the chlorine to meet that demand. If you did not have as big of a contact tank or any contact tank at all, you're going to have much higher chlorine dosing that you have to do. And water quality just isn't going to be as good. I think the state's going to make you put that back in. I don't think there's an option.
Just thought I'd ask.
Yeah, about an hour ago, Donnie, I sent an emergency email to DOLA. I CC'd you on it and asked our DOLA rep if there's some sort of emergency funding they can assist us with the situation.
Right.
So I'll see what they come back with. I don't expect an answer tonight, but I'm sure he'll give me a call tomorrow. And I'll shoot you off an email with what his response is. We'll just go from there. I don't even know where to start looking for this right now since this is just brand new and we only learned about it a couple hours ago.
Mhm.
But
So your recommendation is that we gotta take that whole tank down and replace it completely. There's no
yeah,
fix. Yeah,
I believe that's how I
that's how,
understand it.
that's what I understand.
Isn't that right, Stephen? About taking that whole tank down, there's no repairing that. Probably,
It didn't sound like value exceed or damage exceeds value of vehicle is really what it sounded like coming from Chuck's mouth. So I mean, there probably is Band-Aids that could be put on it, but it would just kick the can a little bit further down the road. It is a bolted tank at the end of the day, and it will eventually leak. He said there's even risk in draining it that the gaskets can dry out. So
Stephen, when he proposed building next to it, is that what we'd have to do is completely put one up next to it before we can destruct that one?
That would be
yes,
hugely
because you still need
beneficial.
some kind of contact time while they do construction. So you can't just tear that tank down and leave it offline. If you want to put it in the same spot, you'd have to go through the engineering hurdles of having temporary contact time designed and engineered. You'd have to get frac tanks out there.
Yeah.
So by building right next to it, you eliminate the cost of having to do temporary contact time.
Is there room over there for another one next to it?
It'd probably have to go in the parking lot or something like that, and then it would just shift your lot around. There is room to do it though.
The thing is that lot, all of that property over there's been split up as to what is KWWA and what is the town. So there's
Oh,
property
interesting.
lines there now as to what belongs to the town and what is deeded over to the water authority.
You
That's
may
why I was
need to
asking.
go ask for some reappropriation of land then.
Okay. Hmm.
I think there's enough room where we could probably figure it out with town and just maybe, redraw how that looks, maybe Kim.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We always figure it out. It's just brand new. We just got to figure out how to tackle it, Donnie.
Sure.
Mhm.
Yep. Yep,
We just got to think on it.
sure. Well, as far as everything else, Stephen, where are we at with everything else, sir, gentlemen?
Do we want to talk about the potential drought conditions or just progress on the wastewater plant next?
Progress on the wastewater would be great.
So this month we got Provac to come out and they were able to vacuum all the solids and rags and everything else out of reactor number 1, as well as they cleaned out all the grit from the headworks. So everything in that regard is ready to go back online. I believe pumps have been ordered as far as I could tell from emails back and forth. And I'm just currently working on some small things down in the reactor to unclog the jet aeration bar, as well as just put some things back together that have fallen apart in there. So things are definitely looking up there. I still need to work on getting a new quote for the auger screen itself. as well as a new quote to either have the grinder rebuilt or a new grinder. But looking at that grinder, it is in pretty rough shape. One of the bearings is completely disintegrated and gone, and it's been eating into its housing.
Hmm.
So that's where the parts and pieces for that stand. But forward progress, at least.
Steven, can I ask you a question about the hauling?
Yeah.
So do you anticipate any more hauling of material this year like that?
Possibly from a different company, from McDonald Farms, to get the digester emptied as much as we can.
Okay.
Because
And
Provac didn't touch the digester at all. This was only to clean out the rags and the headworks.
oh, wow. Okay. So my reason in asking that is that we have already, with that one haul, we exceeded our budgeted line item for hauling. So we're probably going to have to do some movement around on the budget to accommodate that. I mean, we'll talk about that when we get to the expenditures. I was remiss in giving you the percentage. I mean, it's clearly over budget, so it's over 100% of the budget. But it's something to look at when we get over there.
I don't know how full the digester can operate at. There's
Mhm.
definitely still room to do it, or still room to push that out further. It's not a critical emergency or anything.
Okay.
I would say it definitely is gonna need to happen by the end of the year though, right, Stephen?
I won't know for sure until that other reactor goes online, because I'm not even sure how much I should be wasting at this point. So I
Mm.
couldn't give you a real accurate number on pounds per day at this point.
Okay.
I wouldn't rule it out as a possible this year.
Excellent. Anything else, gentlemen, that we should be aware of?
I think
No,
as far as the wastewater plant goes, it's there's the running the plant water.
Mm.
The plant normally operates off reuse water for that auger. But of course, the reuse water system is all defunct, as it were. So we want to run a water line down from the fairgrounds to the wastewater plant. And the reason being that it'd be good to have clean water down there is because in the event that you did get it in your eyes or something like that, then it's not an immediate threat to any operator's health. You'd be getting clean drinking water in your eyes, as well as it'd be the option to wash off too if the unthinkable happened. And it wouldn't break again. You wouldn't have to be maintaining a reuse water pump and pressure tank and controls for it. It'd just be operating off the water system. But that is something we do need to decide on before the auger goes back in, because the auger does require wash water to wash all the solids as they come out.
Yeah, it sounds like to me that that's the most equitable solution there, you know, and long-term maintenance will be a lot less if we do it that way.
It would just come down to a yearly backflow preventer test is really the only maintenance on that.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And I had a conversation with Ted on it. It is something that they can do in-house. He felt for the most part, isn't that right, Stephen?
I don't see any reason why not. It's a pretty easy run of pipe to make. The worst thing we have to do is cross the electric for the plant, but that's something I've done before, so I'm not
Okay.
too worried.
Yeah, I think I think that's something we get on and get it done
Yeah.
because we need water down there, so.
Okay.
I was quoted $2 a foot for pipe by one company and quoted 85 cents a foot for the same pipe by another company, but for whatever reason, they didn't actually send me the quote, so I need to push a little harder to get a better quote.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
On our budget.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think we move forward with that, Kim. Get it
Yeah.
rolling.
Okay. I agree. I think it's gonna be very beneficial in the long run. So
Yeah.
I'll have a discussion with Ted, and Ted will get with the guys and they'll get it figured out and get it done.
And if you'll allow us to use excavator for at least the tap and some other things, then that'll definitely help.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
Excellent.
Yeah.
The only other thing left standing is the drought condition issue. So we've been watching the static well level drop.
Mhm.
In the winter months, we seem to maintain right around 57 to 60 foot. It was real reliable. It would always refill to that level. It's dropped about 10 feet, the static level, while the pumps aren't running. And it's difficult to say if that will get worse or what the normal numbers are because I haven't seen pump logs from last summer. So it's hard not to make a knee-jerk reaction, but it's definitely something to be mindful of. I don't know if we should be in water conservation yet. But that's the other main topic to discuss.
We do have it on the agenda. A little further down.
Oh,
But-
okay.
Yeah,
That
having
works.
your input there is important though. Because you're the one monitoring that, you're the one seeing those changes there. So I could speak to what you tell me, but I can't give them numbers and I can't give them, in-depth detail into the importance of it.
For sure.
Yeah, and can you look into those logs of last year and just see what it looked like comparatively to what you're seeing this year?
So long as we can find pump logs,
Hmm.
then I
We
can
have-
definitely make a
we
better
have
judgment call.
We found some back to October. I'll keep looking,
Okay.
but we do have some back to like October. So
Of
of this last year,
Oh.
and then we have kind of a skip. So, but I'll keep looking.
That'll be missing the summer months of work.
Right.
Oh, yes, probably.
I think the pump logs was an issue too on the sanitary survey. I can't remember how far back we found.
Yeah. We
It
found
was.
back to like October-ish, maybe September. So,
Well, and this is April. I mean, watering season really doesn't really get going until, May, if you're smart,
Yeah.
when it gets hot. I mean, I know it's a odd year, but
Well,
definitely,
some are already going, Donnie, because we had a very warm winter.
I know.
So, yeah,
Right. No,
and that may be part of what's causing the fluctuations.
right. Right.
And I don't know if farmers' fields, if they pull from the same aquifer, if it's normal to see this during watering season.
Yeah, if we
I
had
don't know.
logs.
We never
I
had
don't
anybody
know.
that paid attention to it. Yeah, and if we had a logbook, we'd know.
All right. Well, we appreciate your information on that, and
Yes.
we'll talk a little more about that later in the meeting. And thanks for your due diligence on everything again.
You bet. That's what I'm here for.
Thanks, guys.
All right, we will move on to Sasha's system total report.
okay, so not too bad. We're only at 14%, so it's up just like 2%. So that's not actually too bad. Considering especially because we did see a little uptick in watering. And we did have one leak last week. It wasn't a huge one at one of the homes, but and then as far as shutoffs and overdues, I had 8 shutoffs and 7 overdues go out. So, and I've already had a couple of the shutoffs pay, so that's a good thing. And then my other thing is the tower fence. So I got these pictures actually at like 4:30 this afternoon. So the fence should be completed tomorrow.
Wow, it looks good. I drove by it this weekend.
Okay, yep, so it should be completed tomorrow. So they'll have a functioning
Fence.
safety fence around the tower.
Great.
So
Is there any kind of security cameras or that type of stuff or not?
no.
No, we do have cameras up there.
Okay, Alex.
Oh,
We have a camera up there, that's mounted right over that large pipe that comes out into the field.
Oh,
So we can more closely monitor the door that it sets, that the door that goes into the tower is directly underneath it. And it monitors that pipe to make sure there's no overflow spewing out of it.
or if anybody's,
Trying to
Mhm.
access the tower, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if the door is padlocked and there's a sign that has been mounted there since we padlocked that door shut that advises anybody wanting access to it has to come down to the town hall to get a key to that lock, and they can only do that during business hours of the town hall. To date, we've not had anybody do that yet.
No.
We understand that whoever the internet company is that has the tower at the top of our tower,
spam
they just,
broadband.
yeah, they just had free access to it whenever they showed up on site. We never knew when they were there or not. And we didn't know if they were the ones leaving the door open. So that's why we put the lock on the door.
Yes. Are there any other signs going to be posted on the fence saying, you know, violators will be prosecuted, blah, blah, blah?
We absolutely can.
Mm,
I just saw I didn't know the fence was going in already until I was there on Saturday doing your financials. It looks great.
It looked great. Yeah,
Yeah,
glad that's up.
it's been a long time coming.
yeah.
We need to protect those facilities.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, so like I said, I just got those this
Good,
afternoon.
thank you.
Ted took pictures and sent them to me, so. I was like, okay, I'm gonna print them out so you can see that the fence is almost done. So they said they just have to finish up a little bit tomorrow and then it should be complete,
So how long did it take to do this?
like a week.
A week?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think they started it last Thursday, Wednesday. So Wednesday, they came in Wednesday to get the keys. And so, yeah,
Along that same token, Ted and the guys have been doing a lot of work up there as well. You know, over the years of the water spewing out of that pipe there, it caused a really big crevice or valley from the water coming out of there at a high rate down into that pasture. And the guys have worked really hard to fill that in. And Stephen, I don't understand the terminology that went into what you guys did up there. Ted kept calling it riff raff or something like that. If you want to explain to them what you guys did to remediate that situation.
Yeah, so we had a decent amount of concrete chunks down at the wastewater plant. And the term you're looking for is called rip wrap.
Rip rap. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So really it works the same way as like rocks in a river. The
Okay.
water will run over the rip wrap and it'll stop the dirt from eroding around it.
Oh.
Because all that overflow had carved a pretty big trench in the ground.
Yeah.
So Ted refilled it with dirt and rip wrap. So any further overflow, it will erode either very little or not at all now.
Yeah. It looks real good up there.
But definitely Ted to thank for all of that work.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Sasha. Kim, go ahead with your report.
The only thing I have right now is the county has the water plan and the IGA on their docket, on their agenda on the 22nd. So for final approval on that. We don't anticipate any issues with it finally being approved on the 22nd. Once it is, we've already paid the billing to Wrightwater for that water plan. So I'll turn around and invoice them for their portion of what they agreed to pay on that, which is also covered in the IGA. And I have been working with Wrightwater. Wrightwater is working on some of the requirements to get us under that congressional funding, because we did get the congressional funding for $1 million, But in order to have access to it, we have to essentially go through the same process as an applicant for federal funding, because they have to have a file for all the documentation as they would with any other grant. So that is a process because it is federal funding. There's a lot of very technical engineering questions that are needing to be answered with regard to that. So I do have Wrightwater working on that so we can gain access to that money. We have put in a grant request to DOLA for phase 1 and phase 2, which is a nominal amount right now. But we're utilizing that congressional funding as match to DOLA. So nothing is coming out of the general fund. So we're kind of working them concurrently. Once we get access to both, we'll get started with Wrightwater on the design and engineering of that finally. I don't know how the thing that's got me a little perplexed right now, because, and it is brand new, is part of that proposal for the new well, I believe we had on there a new contact tank. So I don't know where this issue puts us with that. So I need to have a discussion with them over that. That proposal, that cost estimate included a new contact tank. So
I didn't realize that.
yeah.
Okay.
So I'll have to have a discussion with Wrightwater and let them know what's going on. See what, if they have any suggestions on options.
Mhm.
Maybe we start there. I don't know. So
Right. That's
but we'll
it.
find out. Yeah.
That's all you got?
That's all I got. Sorry, guys. I can't get my camera to work. I feel very bad. I don't like this. And I've logged out and logged back in and it still will not turn on. So I even made myself not look homeless for you. To no avail. So
Thank you.
you're
Excellent.
welcome.
Super. So we'll move on into general business on tap fees. I know we discussed it last month after you provided us with all the information, and we had talked about rural water doing an analysis on tap fees also possibly,
Mhm.
and maybe you can touch on that a little.
You're talking to me?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, I missed the first part of that. I did send out an email I got information from Hugo, because Hugo was in a similar situation, and I need to get clarification from her at some point next week because she's at a conference right now. But she asserted that DOLA would pay for a tap fee study to be done, should we need one, and that there was some sort of requirement in state law for that, which is why DOLA would do it. I reached out to DOLA today, and DOLA's like, no, we don't do that. But we could find another entity, a nonprofit or somebody that does. Well, we all know Colorado Rural Water is a nonprofit that does a lot of that. So I have reached out to Logan today at Colorado Rural Water and inquired if that is a study that they can pick up for us next to do. And as I stated in that agenda item report, it's very beneficial to have a third party complete that study and give that feedback back, because it kind of eliminates that perception from the public that we're just throwing out there some random number that we feel is sufficient that has no data support to it. And I'd rather see something that's data supported for Kiowa specifically. We can collect comparisons from all these other municipalities till the cows come home. But having an actual study that has verified data information in it from a third party that has no direct bias to the situation would probably be very beneficial. So I already got a response back from DOLA, which has led me to reaching out to Colorado Rural Water. And as soon as I get a more concrete answer from them, I do feel that that's something they do. I just don't know what the timing looks like for them. But I'll get back to you as soon as I get a response from Logan. I anticipate that'll be before the end of the week as well.
Yeah, because
And they do that study free, you say?
Colorado Rural Water does it for free, yes. They are a nonprofit and they always do these types of studies for free.
Yeah, because we talked the asset management plan rate study that I included.
Right,
Does
right.
not include.
Does
tap.
not,
Oh,
no.
okay.
None
So-
of the information included in that rate study or the asset management gives you
Include that.
any kind of data that would give you any accurate information to setting a good tap fee. None of that information collected goes toward tap fee information, so.
Which is why Kim reached out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Well, I think if we could do the, if that wasn't a, if that was a pretty quick turnaround on that, if we could do that with our rate study and, look at rates, water sewer rates as well on our, based on findings from, Colorado Rural Water. If we could do that, with one shot, if it made sense timing wise, readjust the rates for, tap fees and for water and sewer usage.
right.
Although the one you have, the
it's
asset management,
most current.
It-
Well, you
it-
have a capital asset study.
it
And then
does
you
have the,
Yeah, and the rate study was supposed to be good for, I have to go back and look at it for a certain number of years. That is your most current.
yeah,
Right.
And that's where the recommendation came to have an automatic 3% increase every January.
Right.
And the tap fees are tremendously different than your rate, your water sewer rates. Because tap fees they're directed directly toward infrastructure expansion and long-term capital needs, like your sewer plant, like your new well. And when a developer comes in, you're always, especially with a small rural town like Kiowa, you're always going to need an expansion on your infrastructure to accommodate a development that sometimes, and like the last one, was proposing to double the population in Kiowa. And that's why they're so important, is to have an accurate tap fee amount that you're charging. You want to make sure you're collecting enough money that you are expanding that infrastructure to a size that will accommodate them. That's your chance to do that. And I know I've had conversations with Mike, and I remember, Mike, where you live, but he pays just under $100,000 for his water and sewer taps at his personal residence.
Right.
So I don't think the $6,500 for water and the $6,500 for sewer right now that Kiowa's charging it's a drop in the bucket compared to the problems we're having right now that we're trying to find funding to fix.
I agree that third party is gonna make it to where it doesn't look like we're just increasing fees
Absolutely.
to cover our butt.
Right.
Of what we're
Right.
at. The people can't come at us in that
Right.
direction. I agree. Kim.
Yeah, absolutely.
well, and tap fees are not, there's no person in town who lives here is gonna bear any of that brunt.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's all new people, yeah,
New people building,
new people building, yes,
acquiring a new tap for whatever they're building. Yeah.
correct.
Well, we'll look forward to getting that back on the agenda next month and hopefully getting that
Yep.
before doing a time of absence. So.
Okay.
We'll move on to proposed watering restrictions and schedule.
I did have Sasha give you a little background on it essentially is laying out what Stephen's already given you. The current conditions and observations that are substantiating Stephen's suggestion that we need to watch it a little bit more closely. And I think watching it a little closer now, and should we need to put in some soft restrictions now, if those soft restrictions make at least a bit of repairs to what we're seeing happening, kind of reverse it a little bit, or at least maintain it where it's at, then it was beneficial and we won't have down the road put in more stricter restrictions to watering. But right now, I think the proposal that Sasha gave to you all in the packet offsetting 6 days a week, 3 days for one side and 3 days for the other, and leaving one day where nobody waters, I think it's feasible. I don't think there's a world where anybody needs to be watering every single day right now when there's no moisture. We had no runoff this year. We have no rain at all. And we may have been having these issues before, but as good stewards of our water service for our town, we need to at least put it on the radar and consider it. If it keeps trending the way that the guys are watching it trend, I don't want to hit a point where we're like, okay, we need to do something now because now it's really bad, rather than try to, feather it in right now and take some precautionary restrictions that might level it out without having to take more severe ones later. My point, just my opinion.
No, I think this is a great idea to start this, and it helps people structure what they're doing when they're watering too, not just letting it run and run and run or whatever.
Yeah. We had a water line issue on Thursday last week. We determined that water line issue was causing a 60-gallon an hour leak. We could have said, okay, well, I know you got a house full of people, so we're gonna let it keep your water on until next week, because he was facing paying after our rates to get it fixed. But I told him, I said, if you make the decision to wait until next week, or you make the decision to do it at your leisure, I'm going to shut your water off until it gets done. If you can't give me a good time or time frame as to when you feel you can get those repairs done, because he is a handyman. And they couldn't do that. And given the drought condition that we're in right now, and people facing restrictions on their ability to water across town, and the fact that our board and our staff have to be cognizant of the entire town's availability of the water, or even having water available to them, we made the decision to shut the water off, and they agreed to let us do it. So it stayed off all weekend. They had no water all weekend, so that we didn't lose that 60 gallons an hour for 4 days. Guys got in there, got the repairs done first thing Monday morning, and their water was turned back on. But that's the stance we're taking right now when we have a leak somewhere. It's a critical thing. We're not just going to let it run and run and run. It helps him with his water bill. He's going to have to pay that leak amount. And it keeps us from saying, we were cognizant that it was leaking 60 gallons an hour, and we didn't let it continue doing that, despite complaining about, losing water off of our water table in Kiowa. So.
Well, I think it's a good proposal for the fact that, number one, it makes people aware and makes them conscious.
Yes.
They're using water. And I mean, I don't think we're gonna have the water police running out, enforcing it. So I mean, it's a voluntary restriction, of course, but
Absolutely.
I think that if we make people aware of it, I think most people will comply, and it won't be a problem. I mean, I think most people in the town are pretty conservative with their water anyway because of the cost, so I don't think that
If we do this, I would like to have this mailed out there.
absolutely.
Yeah, I'll mail it.
Yeah.
Now,
No,
I,
not all of us get water bills. I go online.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I would make it a separate envelope.
yeah, well, it's like when I sent out the water report
Yes.
last week, I sent it out to all the people, no matter if they get a written bill or not. I mean, they should get it. So on this, no, I sent a water report. Yep.
Yeah.
So on this, I did have the word mandatory. Do you want me to change that to voluntary
I mean,
or suggested?
I think suggested or.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like the word suggested.
Okay.
Right now, we're letting them have control over their usage, so that they're cognizant of what we're saying the issue is, and this is what is going to happen down the road if we continue down this path. And we're trying to keep that from happening by asking people to be cognizant of their water usage now.
Okay. And it also says there's no watering on Sundays. Should I just put please try not to water on Sundays? Would you rather that
Please
language?
refrain from water on
Okay.
Sunday.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I can do that.
Yep. Do we need to take a formal vote on that, or do we just need to decide by?
I think because it's an agenda item under general business, you probably should take a vote on it.
Jill,
If,
did
you know, if we come back and we have to put hard water restrictions in place, that'll be another vote. But, you know, right now you're voting to keep it as a volunteer suggested basis. You were suggesting that they follow the suggested watering schedule.
Yeah.
But because it is a line item, or action item on your general business, make a motion and vote.
Jill, did you have any input?
No, I just did some research on, because there's a lot of municipalities that are putting mandatory water restrictions on already. And just in a quick Google today with Colorado Public Radio, there's 9 metro area municipalities within the Denver metro area that are putting mandatory watering, and they're only allowing 2 days a week. And some are limiting, you can't water between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. So people are seeing this, that other places are putting water restrictions on. So this is pretty mild compared to what a lot of them are doing.
Yeah, Hugo at 11 o'clock last night put in an emergency watering restriction order for their town. They were initially proposing and taking away all watering in that town. I don't know what they ended up with, but they did it at 11 o'clock last night in a special meeting. That's the point where
And
they've gotten.
Say Elizabeth is doing a 3 and 3 like this.
Yeah. Well, I think if we see a big difference by by May, and with these guys, watching this pretty closely now and actually
Right.
keeping records, I think that, if something further needs to go, we can change what we need to do. So.
And Kim, can you tell us why Hugo decided it was such an emergency?
The administrator's a friend of mine. I have not been following the text messages as I should be very closely, but it does is along the same lines as what you're finding is the water tables are changing drastically up and down. That's the information she's getting from her public works department. They have an in-house, my understanding. So they've been back and forth. I could get more information for you, but I know that this has been back and forth for 2 or 3 meetings now. And a lot of it's driven by their board request.
Okay.
Their board members actually requested no watering at all. So they've been trying to have multiple workshops to get around doing a complete water restriction in the town. But it is based on the numbers that you're finding too.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Excellent. If we want to go ahead, I would entertain a motion to propose watering restrictions and schedule.
And this looks okay once I make those changes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I think so.
okay. All right.
I didn't make a motion. I said I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion for the watering restrictions and scheduling starting in May.
I'll second it.
Motion been made and seconded. Do we want to start in May, or are we going to send that letter out right away?
Let's start with May.
Well, I can send it out right away, but
Yeah,
it
we
would
can
start in
send
May.
it out
Yeah.
now, but
Yeah.
Maybe start the watering on May.
Okay.
Yeah, especially since this weekend's supposed to rain and snow.
That would be
So-
nice.
Let's hope.
Go ahead. Everybody.
Excellent. Motions has been made and seconded. All those in favor of the motion on the table, aye?
Aye.
All right.
Motion carries. Excellent.
Yeah, I'll make those
Do we have any
changes.
correspondence discussion?
No. Have we got over financials?
I know we didn't, it was in the
It was in the consent items.
But you can if you'd like to, because I
Oh.
see about 27%.
Sorry about that. Yeah. I just wanted to let you guys know, and I should have sent you an email about this. The areas that you're seeing in blue on your percentages, those are areas that we're probably going to have to go back and revisit and increasing those budget line items due to circumstances that we're now aware of. You know, when we went into this budget, we went into this budget with Paul as our ORC. So that amount's going to change a little bit based off the work that the extra work they're having to do now. And lab fees, I base that off what we've paid annually. And now we find out that lab fees have not been kept up the way they should have been kept up for a long time. So there's going to be a lot more lab fees done. So we need to probably come back and revisit that too.
Well,
There's
we're
2 or
saving
3 items.
We're saving plenty in the legal end, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're trying.
Or,
So,
That fixed.
Excellent. Any questions for Kim?
No, just keep up the good work, Kim. You're doing an excellent job.
thank you. Thank you guys. Thank you for your support for everything that we're trying to do for you. We really appreciate it. The water guys, the staff. You know, it makes our job so much easier when you guys wholeheartedly support us. And I mean, that's not just at that table, it's going out in the community. So I really appreciate you guys for that.
You, because you are going above and beyond in trying to help us, you know, giving us suggestions of how to do things and providing different information and different sources. And that's something that we can't do necessarily, but you certainly are doing an excellent job. You and Sasha both are stepping right up and doing that. And so is the
Thank you.
wolf people are doing that too.
Yeah, they are. It takes a village.
Ted,
You know,
and
so
Ted,
yeah, we can't forget Ted.
Yeah.
It's a good team effort. I think we're moving forward in the right direction and getting a lot of things accomplished.
I absolutely agree.
Not been
Yep.
doing, and we thought
Yep.
we're done. So, thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Super. We have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
well, second.
Motion's been made to adjourn and seconded to adjourn. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carried. We are adjourned at 6:18?
Yep.
Yes.
18.
Speak first.